Hey everybody, welcome to Houdini Hangout. It's nice to have you back here again. We're here, in the new year. I had taken off the majority of December, and so it's nice to kind of be back and getting into things, and just getting back into the relative, just getting back into streaming a little bit here. So I've we got quite a few things that I've adjusted here on my end. Hey, Ruben, welcome. One thing you'll probably notice is that I've got a little bit of music in the background because I figured why not? Instead of just listening to me talk all the time, could have a little lo-fi chill music in the background. So that's one thing. So you have to let me know if it's too loud, too quiet, whatever. Just let me know. Hey Ruben, if I didn't say hello, how's it going? Please let me know if there's anything weird happening during the stream. I've got a lot more stuff that I'm like monitoring and like keeping track of. So there's just a lot going on now because I'm doing this on two computers and I'm just trying to figure everything out and make sure everything is going well. I've got new audio equipment. I literally wiped my operating system on my workstation. So that's all wiped and new. So if anybody runs into anything, let me know. Or if anybody sees anything or something's not working or something's weird or my voice sounds like a robot, I don't know, any number of things. Those could all be happening. If this background music is too loud, let me know and I'll turn it down. I have a little mixer kind of thing now, so I can actually do some of this stuff live a little bit better. And hopefully for the future, that'll just make things a little more professional and fun. And if my voice sounds goofy or weird or if it's EQ'd poorly or I don't know, I'm not an audio professional. Hey Zach, how's it going, man? Welcome to the stream. Guess who's back? Isn't Slim Shady? Is that? Wow, that probably shows my age, right? Guess who's back? Anyways, hey Cammy, welcome. So tonight, to the Houdini stuff. Wow, I can't even say Houdini. Wow, that's fun. To the Houdini stuff, we're going to just kind of open it up. Just have an open discussion and, whatever anybody's interested in talking about, certainly we can, get into it and answer questions to the best of our ability. Try to talk about things and, we'll just kind of see where we go here. But sorry, I was eating my dinner and I just hit my silverware that was on the side of the desk. Ugh, man, can you tell I haven't talked in a while? It's funny. I'm setting my thing up and I'm like, I don't have my Discord button to push the little thing to say, hey, go join the Discord server. So if you go to HoudiniHangout.com, you can get a link to the Discord server and chat on there and ask questions and things like that. When I was off for a little bit here, you could always find me there, I guess, or chat with me there. And I tried to be as active as I can be, but I think everybody was a little bit, chill for the holidays and stuff like that. Although I had some interesting conversations just the last day or so that were kind of cool and some interesting questions. So that's I don't know. That's all I've got to say about that. But so if you're if you've got any questions or thoughts or comments or anything like that you want to bring up and chat about, we have feel free to, hey Fractaler, welcome. Feel free to drop them in the chat. I always say that this is a free space. You can come in, you can say, you can ask any question you want about Houdini. I'm certainly not the foremost expert on Houdini. I know a couple things and I'll do my best to answer your questions and do whatever, but this is a safe space. There's no dumb Houdini questions here. So whatever you're feeling or thinking, just go ahead, drop them in the chat and we can start talking about some stuff. I've got there were some interesting, just as people are maybe formulating questions or thoughts or anything like that, there were some interesting new topic suggestions in the Discord server. So probably get into those in the coming weeks. I had some ideas too for doing a little like, obviously finished up the Stranger Things finale and had some ideas of doing like the little portal thing where there's all the weird threads hanging and stuff like that. Thinking about doing something like that. Could be kind of fun to play around with. I already set something up kind of pretty basic, but just to kind of proof of concept. So I think that might be something we do in the next couple of weeks or whatever. But so got some ideas, got some things that want to throw out there and try to get going or whatever. But so got some new ideas for the year. Like I said, got some new equipment, things like that. And just ready to kind of get back into things. So if you guys have any questions or thoughts or anything like that you want to chat about, this is going to just be an open discussion. Go ahead and throw things in the chat. We'll talk about them and figure out what we can do. So please feel free to ask away in the chat. We can just kind of groove out to some music too, which is fun. I was asking. Interesting. So Ruben is saying mops fetch node. Good thing I have mops installed on this computer. At least I think I do. Hope I do. Oh man, it's always fun to wipe your computer, right? The mops fetch node. I still struggle bringing animated geometry into Vellum. So Ruben, when you say that you're struggling bringing animated geometry into Vellum, you mean like, because the idea usually is to pin something to some geometry, right? Like having some sort of like animation that's attached or whatever. When you're saying you struggle bringing animated geometry in, do you mean like animated attributes or things like that? Is that, I'm guessing that's what you're kind of getting at, right? So that's an interesting question though. We can definitely talk about that a little bit. Let me just double check that I have my mops. Yes, I do. Okay, let me just double check that I have all the mops stuff installed. Yeah, looks like I do. Animated attributes, cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, excuse me, Mops Plus definitely makes that a lot easier. Let's jump over and do that here. So if you've got some sort of animated attribute, and since you're talking about mops, we'll just do that with mops and kind of, we'll figure something out here. So let's see if we can come up with something. I made a geometry node while I was talking here. So let's just say, animated vellum. Maybe attributes, something like that. That sounds good. All right. So let's go in here. Let's just do a planar patch. That's fine. We'll just do something like that. And like I said, let me know if any of this audio stuff that I'm doing or anything like that is weird, if the music's too loud, too quiet, whatever, just let me know. Or if you can't hear the music, I have a different mix in my ears, so hopefully I've set this all up correctly. Sorry for talking about all the new stuff. I'm just making sure that things are set up properly here. Okay, so let's grab a seam here and just trying to think what would make the most sense to. No, it's totally fine, Ruben. You don't have to apologize for it being vague. That's totally cool. We can come up with an example here. It's fine. What I'll do is, let's just say I wanted to have stuff like pinned, for example. Say you want something to be pinned on this, and we want to animate which parts are pinned. That's probably a pretty easy thing to visualize and understand, that we're transferring this this pinned attribute or these attributes, right? Let's see. I'm Duong just said, just watched your whitewater simulation stream, helped me a lot with my current project. I still struggle with doing it in a large scale scene though. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like whitewater is going to be a lot more complicated the larger, the larger the scene gets, right? So that's going to be a little bit tricky or whatever, but yeah. Cool. Fractaler has an animation question. Cool. Great. Well, thanks for throwing some questions in there. Probably can't get to a large scale whitewater simulation, but maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. And maybe if you have some more details about what it is that you're struggling with in the large scale scene, maybe throw that in the chat as well. We can talk about that. Okay. So we've got this planar patch here. Let's do a vellum configure cloth. So we'll just do something super simple here. So we've got that, and let's just pin the left edges here, which are going to pin these right here. We can see the pins. And I'm pretty sure all that's going to be doing is setting the mass to 0, if I'm remembering correctly. Yep. So really we're just setting the mass to 0 with those, and that pins it basically in place. I don't think there's anything else that even happens with this, if I'm remembering correctly. Distance, bend. Yeah, no, that's all. That's all that should be happening there. So, all right, so let's just do a vellum solver here, and we can use this. Get a second here. Hopefully the music is nicer when I'm just kind of waiting for something. It's not, I don't talk quite as much. And it gives me something to kind of chill, like groove to, right? Kind of like it. Okay, so we've got some cloth here. Let's maybe just add a little like pop wind here. Let's do that. And add a little amplitude here. Great. Okay, so we have that, super exciting simulation, right? But we want to control this now. So let's do this. Let's do a, let's see here. How do we want to do this? Okay, let's do a shape fall off. We'll just do something. Oh, that's right. I forgot there was like a weird thing going on there. I wonder if I need to update something. Anyways, all right, so let's do this. Let's preview this and maybe change the scale. I always pick the wrong one. All right, so we'll do this. And maybe what we'll do here is, procedural nodes 3D just asked, what's the advantage of a planar patch versus a grid? When I did a pillow animation, the grid seemed easier to work with. Yeah, I mean, there's not really, there's no problem with using a grid instead. The one thing I kind of like about the planar patch, especially when you're, oh, cool. Thanks, Freckler. I can easily turn it down too, so just let me know. I'm glad the music is enjoyable. Cool. So the planar patch advantage, I think, is that you get these nice kind of irregular shapes on it, right? Instead of it being this perfect grid. And so originally the idea was that that vellum was created so that it was going to be triangulated, or at least that's the best that I can understand from the developers. And then when they started putting quads into it, it just kind of worked. And so then they were like, oh, okay, I guess it just works. I guess it's cool. So, yeah, that was really, I think, a little bit of a surprise that quads worked as well as they did. So it's kind of now unofficially that there's no real reason to triangulate or have anything like that. But, yeah, other than that, yeah, the I think it's nice because it gives you some extra kind of varied edges that can kind of bend and move. I just think it helps break up the kind of blockiness of it, whatever. But yeah, that's just my 2 cents. So yeah. Anyways, all right, so let's do a mop shape fall off here. I'm just trying to think how this is going to work exactly. Yeah, no problem. No problem, procedural. All right, so let's just animate this and we can go from there. This should be full. What side is actually getting pinned? That side is getting pinned. Okay, well, let's do this then. Okay, we'll do it 90. Actually, we'll do it like this. There we go. And hopefully... Yep, so we'll do this as pinned. Nope, sorry. I'm going to change my mind again. We're going to do this. We're going to do this 0 as pinned, and then this is unpinned. So what I'm going to do basically is multiply this fall off value here by the mass, more or less. So when we have it like this, we should be able to now take, I'm just going to do this with a simple point wrangle. All right, so let's just animate this real quick. I don't know, maybe at 48, animate the translate, go to 144, like so. Cool. Nice and easy. Hopefully that'll be good. And so let's take, now we have this mop's fall off that's set here. And let's just do f at mass times equals f at mops fall off. All right, so just if you know, if you're not familiar, the times equals just means multiply this value and set this value, you know, multiply and set equal to this. Turquoise music note. Nice. All right, so let's try this here. And let's see, let's put a null down and just say anim, I don't know, pins, something like that. Cool. All right, so let's do a mops, what are we doing? Mops fetch attribute. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So basically what we're going to do is set a source, set a destination. And so really what we need to just do here for both of these is just going to be mass, because we've got this vellum object. If we go to our geometry down here in our geometry spreadsheet, we should see that we have a mass attribute here. So if we do this and just set this to mass and mass, that should be good. This would be important though. Let's match this by an attribute. Let's do this up here. Let's just do an enumerate just in case vellum decides to get funky with us. So we'll just have this index be our attribute that we're going to match up. And then that way we can make sure that they're going one to one. So let's come in here. We'll say match by attribute. We'll say index. And let's just see what's going to happen here. Not sure if that's all we need to do, but let me just, no. What did I do here? What is it mad about? Oh, my mops plus license isn't found. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, let's give me a second here and I can try to fix that. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm just going to see if I can't. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see. Sorry about this. I thought I had this installed, so my bad. All right, let's see here. Let me save this as well. Hey, first in the folder of 2026. Nice. Co-working stream. Nice. All right. Let me just reopen this and hopefully that will be all I needed. All right. Let's jump back over here. Cool. I think we're working now. But are we still getting the same situation here? Oh, right. I need to give it a source. Duh. Okay, let's see here. So we need our animated pins. And let's see now. Vellum object, geometry. Is that writing it? No. Oh, that's funny. Definitely should have done it the other way. That was goofy. I was thinking that would made sense, but it doesn't actually. So let's change that. So hey, Philip, nice to have you. Glad to have you here. All right, let's see here. So that should work. Let's see. Cool. And then we'll do it this way. Great. We're just doing some basically just having a live Q&A session. Somebody asked a question about some transferring attributes basically into a vellum solver using mops. And so we're just working on that right now. So what we should be able to do now is see that attribute come in, and there we go. And so, yeah, so the idea here, right, is you need a few things. So we obviously need the attributes that we're going to be working with, right? And it's often a really good idea, especially when using something like Vellum, to add in this index attribute, right? So that when we get down here, we have all this information here, we have this index, and we can also then reference that in here, right? When we're looking at the attribute using the index. So yeah, that's just kind of the important part of it. So hopefully that makes sense, Ruben. Hopefully that's, you know, easy enough to understand. And it's obviously a very basic example, but you could do this with any attribute, right? So if you had some sort of, you know, solver or something like that, that was going in and doing, you know, all this custom things to your simulation, you can pass the data through that way. Obviously there's manual ways of going through and bringing that data in yourself. But this is a really nice way to just have a source, have a target that you want to go to, and go from there. The other thing to keep in mind is that you can either select the geometry or the constraints. So in this case, I'm using the geometry because when you're pinning the attribute, you're pinning to the, you know, you're telling the geometry's mass, basically that it's 0. And there's a lot of other cases where, say, you have like a stretch constraint or something like that that you want to adjust, or you want to break a constraint based on a certain attribute coming in, or delete a constraint. You need to be initializing that over to the constraints instead of to the geometry itself. And that's just going to be targeting, I think you can see it here, between geometry and constraint geometry. That's going to be changing which one we're looking at. And that's just what this little initialize dropdown does. So just something to keep in mind there. So cool. Great. Yeah, hopefully that's helpful to you and maybe others that are trying to figure that out as well. So cool. Yeah, so if anybody has any other questions or thoughts or things like that, please feel free to drop them in the chat. I have the chat here, so I can just kind of go back and take a look at whatever, and we can go from there. And if you want to join the Discord server, feel free to go to houdinihangout.com. Sorry, I don't have my fancy little button set up yet because I wiped my computer. But if you want to go to houdinihangout.com, you can join into the Discord server and chat there. If you've got questions or need help after the fact, if you're watching this, you know, recorded or whatever, you can go in there and ask questions and bring up your own thoughts and ideas there. So cool. All right. What else did we have? So we had a question from Imduong. So yeah, if you were asking about whitewater simulation. If you have any more details to add in about that, maybe we can chat about what would be the positives or negatives there, you know, ways of thinking about doing things better or whatever. But yeah, I don't have any like, here's the magic bullet to make every whitewater simulation work properly. But if you're struggling with something, you can obviously go over onto Discord, post some screenshots and go from there. Or if you have more details that you want to share here, feel free and we can kind of chat about it a little bit more. But yeah, without like specifics, it's a little hard to like say, oh, do this and this, because there's a lot that goes on with, you know, flip and obviously then with whitewater. So it's you know, kind of a big topic. So, all right. So Fractaler asked, working on a project where a lot of things are animated and moving together. Because of a lack of time, I animated the transform node on each step, but I feel this isn't the way. Okay. Part 2, I have a lot of instances and it's very heavy. Viewport lags very much, even if cached at all the animation. There should be something I missed. Working on a laggy viewport is slow. Yes. So yeah, that's an interesting question, Fractaler. Animated the transform node on each step. Do you mean each frame, or like you animate it multiple times? Yeah, I'm just trying to understand that part of it. Because the instance thing, well, hopefully you're packing your geometry if you have a lot of instances, because that certainly will help. But if that's not the case, you know, and obviously if you're working in Solaris, that's going to be a little bit different than if you're working in SOPs. There's just differences there on both. So yeah, happy to have some conversations about that either way. But yeah, I'd be curious to see what the details of that are. But yeah, so for everybody else, if you have questions or thoughts or anything like that, this is a completely open chat, and just, you know, even if it's not like, hey, I need help with this thing, if you have questions about, you know, Houdini in general, or, you know, anything Houdini related, happy to just chat about stuff and have some, you know, whatever, some conversation about the just features, or how you might go about doing something, or, you know, how you think about, you know, getting started with a project, with, you know, what technique and things like that. I don't know, lots of things you might be curious about. So happy to get into that if you have questions. So on a totally unrelated note, this is the first time I've ever done the stream with 3 screens, and it's interesting. So I'm like looking back and forth. So apologies that I kind of look back and forth a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of interesting. I haven't done this before, so. I'm enjoying the music too, so hopefully everybody else is. My wife she'll listen to like this kind of like lo-fi music and stuff like that when she's working a lot of times. So kind of inspired me. I was like, it's probably a good thing in the background. Okay, Fractaler said packed. Yes, it's a lot of small objects. New screens? No, not new screens. They're old. They're crappy old screens. I don't spend money on this. I mean, I spend money on this, but very whatever. Lo-fi's all I need today. Hey, Lucas, welcome, man. Good to have you. Okay, it's a lot of small objects getting stuck together, getting in plastic bags, cardboards, that kind of animation. Even if packed, it got very slow. I'm trying to see if there's a lighter way to do that. Honestly, no. But what my camera got all out of focus. So what I would say that you might want to nice. Philip's working on some NPM stuff. I like NPM. NPM's fun. You can do some interesting looking stuff. It feels like such a different solver. It's cool. So let's take a look at this. So with let's see here. With like if you're just add another geometry node here and just say lots of instances, and let's just look at this and see what we got going on here. First of all, I'm gonna hide the other objects. There we go. And so oh, cool, Philip, you discovered clip by attribute. Yeah, clip by attribute's amazing. That kind of came from something I learned from Matt Estella through the wiki, and like that was like a long time request, because it's like kind of like translating it into that space, then clipping it and then moving it back. So yeah, clip by attribute is a great feature. It's a great update. I actually just found out about, what was it? Attribute reorient? Attribute reorient is pretty crazy. So I was actually having an issue before with, I was doing a simulation with using velocity to like from a Copernicus network to drive like a fabric getting tugged around and stuff like that. And basically when I translated from world space into this, the geometry from world space into UV space, and it flattened out, all of my vectors were still in the same direction that they were in world space. So it was actually kind of wrong. And so what you can do here is you can feed in 2 different types of geometry, and it'll try to orient your vectors and quaternions and things like that into the right space. So you basically feed into it's almost like point deform, except for like vector and quaternion attributes. So it's pretty cool. And I just played around with it today. It works pretty well. So yeah, let's see here. Okay, sorry. We were gonna do some instancing here. So let's just grab a test geometry. What's a good one for this? Let's see here. Let's just, oh, that's a weird one. Let's just do test. Let's just get a bunch of different stuff here. Let's grab Tommy. Let's grab the pig. Let's grab the rubber toy. And let's do copy to points. And let's do a ton of these. Let's do we'll just do it on a grid with a big scatter. And I don't know, let's do 10,000 of them or something. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do scatter in a line. So this will actually give us a lot of some nice little features here. Okay, so we've got that. So we're gonna do our target points here, and let's see. I'm just trying to think here. Name. So let's just name these so that we can grab these. This is going to be Tommy, Pig, Roberto. All right, let's get these guys going. Oh, no problem, man. You don't have to apologize for not being able to share things like that. Oh, okay, got you. I see your image there. Yeah, you got a lot of transforms here. You're merging, transforming, doing that stuff. Yeah, that shouldn't really have anything to do with like the slow. Well, yeah, there's certainly something to be said about all that needing to cook constantly. Fractaler. So that is something interesting there. Is like if you have all of these animated transforms like that, you have to cook that whole chain, and that can probably be that's probably where the biggest that could be a really heavy part of that whole thing. I'm curious if your viewport would be slow without that, you know what I mean? So I mean, I'm guessing that if you have what is this? Sorry, what is it? Attribute from pieces. Here we go. Geometry library, point cloud, and just do random there. Like we got some like, let's see, each step that I add, I want to add, merge them, animate the transform with keyframes, then another thing to merge and do another transform. Yeah, I think can't think of a way to animate two things that aren't in the same tree. Yeah, so I think that's most likely going to be your issue, by the way. Let me just do this here and see if I did the wrong thing. This actually goes over here. Sorry. That's my mistake. A little rusty after not doing this for a month. Hello? Well, the nice thing is if I crash, it doesn't matter. It's just my other computer now, which is kind of cool. Maybe I made too many points. So Fractaler, I'm curious why you need to keep animating them one at a time, like as they come in. And if they're packed objects, I almost wonder if you couldn't do them with like Kinefx or something, you know? Like, oh no, crashy. Yeah, they're packed. Yeah, I wonder if you couldn't do it with Kinefx, honestly. Here, I'm just gonna... just kill that for a second here. The end of the tree, it's just 6,000 points. Yeah, see, that doesn't say to me that it's overly... You meant, did I pack an instance all this geo? Probably not, and that's probably where I came into some issues. Yeah, with it being 6,000 points, that seems a little odd. So what you could do is you could I feel like you could do this with Kinefx, honestly, and have each of the points be like, because you're packing the objects, right? So they're all going to have 1 point. Then if you name them and just initialize them, then you could animate them all with one node, basically, with transforms and things like that. I mean, it wouldn't be the... I don't think it would be... I think it would be just... I think it would be a lot faster. The question is... I don't exactly, obviously, know the stuff that you're... You know... what it is exactly that you're animating and like why that may or may not work. But yeah, you're saying, add what I want to add. I thought about it and I was lazy. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it would be particularly... I don't think it would be particularly tough. Let me think. Let's just see. Let's just see real quick, since I don't have any other questions right now. At least that I can see. If you have a question, let me know. That I missed somehow. There's a bit of conversation happening there, so I may have missed something. But let me think. Let's see here. Oh wow, you started to actually like question. Well, with Linux, I wouldn't question it too much. I mean, Waffle Boy would always say that basically just don't question Linux. It's never Linux's fault. Like a weird oh, that's right. I remember you did have a weird graphics bug. Yeah. All right, let me do these geometries again. Rubber toy. Oh, Wallaby had a vellum queue up there. What was your... Cool, I'm glad you like the tunes. Where was it? Oh, was yours a vellum sim with a pressure constraint, like a looping inflatable object? Is that what you were? Okay. What is interesting? Jan Elsner. Let's see. On Insta, I think you said? I'm curious what it was. Sorry, I'm just pulling up his Instagram here real quick just to see exactly what this is, and then I can share with the class. Do you know what it was? Was it like a pillow with this thing on it, maybe? I don't know. This isn't looping, I don't think. Looping inflatable object. Honestly, a looping simulation in general is usually pretty tricky. I'm guessing it's this that you're talking about. Hold on, let me pull this over here. Okay. I'm guessing it's this. There we go. Okay, this one. Hopefully you weren't trying to put a link in. I know that can get a little funky sometimes. Yeah, must be this, because this does look like it's looping. Well, what I can say right now is that this is not truly looping, because I can see like loop points and stuff. Like not that I can see the loop points, but I can see that he's just inflating it and going back and forth and stuff like that. So there's definitely something happening there, but yeah, it's like morphing. Yeah, exactly. So I think it's really just playing back the simulation in an intelligent way. Yeah, it does look cool. I mean, really the main thing that I would do is, yeah, like you said, a shape match constraint with it for the tube, and then having something with the, you know, the pillow here. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like Philip was saying, inflate, deflate, end of the deflate, you match it up to the initial position. But yeah, so if you're asking about this, let's see here. Let's see if we can't screw around with it and make it happen. Sorry if I'm being a little ADD today. I feel like I'm just trying to get my mind back into the streaming world here. Yeah, his stuff is really good, Wallaby. I agree. It's really cool. Yeah, it's all like product work. Really nice stuff. Actually, that's right. I did try to do a stream with one of his things here. I think it was actually this one. I did a stream with that at one point. Boy, that's the compression on that is not happy. Yeah, the product stuff is super cool. All right, let's give it a shot. So let's just do a box and let's see here. We'll just do a bunch of divisions on it, maybe like that. Make it a little bit flatter. Yeah, I see Fractaler sent some more information there. Yeah, it looks like you're, wow, that's really long if that's the viewport taking all that time. That might be the overall time it's taken since you started it. It's a little hard, I think, because I think it just calculates the total amount of seconds it's going for, basically. I think that's what it's doing, but like as it cooks. All right, so let's try this. Just do like 10 there. We'll do match size. Do this to the minimum. And it's going to continue. Fractaler's going to continue brute forcing this, and I'll do that another day. Yeah, no problem, Fractaler. Yeah, of course. Glad to hopefully can at least give you some insight for the future to do that differently. I'm just going to pin these. So I'm going to make a group, I think, and just pin the corners down here, basically. So I think we're going to do this. What is happening here? What am I missing? Why do I feel like this is different than I'm used to it being? Am I losing my mind here? What's happening? This used to look different. Just making sure I'm not... Is that it? Yeah. I had the base group enabled. Woo! Wow, sorry my brain is not working well today. Thank you, everyone. Oh my goodness gracious. Sorry about that, everybody. Like I said, I am not the expert here. Okay, perfect. That's good enough. We'll just do it at 20 there. No problem, Philip. I'm all set. I'm just being a dummy. Let's do this at p.y. Can we do this equals 0. All right. That was so real. Yeah. Yup. All right. So let's do this, and then I'll just make another group and union them together, I guess. Yeah, let's just do another group, and I'll just do that with, do this with the edges as well. A pro would take my computer away. Just do this less than 0.1 maybe. Okay, guess I can't do that with edges. Strange. Zach, whenever I'm in Houdini, I'm always thankful no one's watching me work. Welcome to welcome to every day I stream. All right, I'm sure I'm doing something really dumb here, but let's do a group promote here, and we'll do ground points, and we're going to go to edges, and we'll say only contained within the original group. Great. And I'll say instead of ground points, ground edges. Cool. And then we'll do a group combine, and say here, I'm sure there's so much better of a way of doing this. I'm just being dumb. Actually, you know what? I probably could have just pinned the ground points. That's probably all I needed to do. I don't need to do the edges. Anyways, moving on. Houdini Live is an Adrenaline Junkies game. Oh, I wish I was an Adrenaline Junkie. Yeah. Oh man. Anyways, okay. Anyway, let's keep moving here. Configure balloon, and we'll do this, and we'll pin those points, ground points, pressure. Okay, let's do this. Volume solver. Talking about it. What happened to Houdini Battle? It happens from time to time. Deb, Isaac, I've seen her do it several times. What is that? Oh, there's no ground plane too. That makes sense. Yeah, I've seen it happen live a few times recently. And yeah. I did a live Houdini battle at SIGGRAPH one time, and talk about the most stressful thing I've ever done. Holy crap. I slept for like 12 hours after that. That's an Adrenaline Junkie game. She does them a lot of times now in person at different events and things like that. So I'm not sure if she does them like online as much anymore. I feel like there was one not too long ago, maybe like 3 months ago, something like that. But yeah, anyways. All right. So that's pinned. Great. Let's see if we can't. So I think here, if we've got our constraint geometry, and this should be pressure. I think this should just be one thing. Yep, pressure. Great. All right, so let's come in here. Oh, you know what? That's right. We also want the, just do a tube, polygonal tube for right now. All right, let's do a transform on this, move it up a little bit so we can see what we're working with, and we'll rotate it to like a 45 like that. And cool. All right, so let's do this, add some end caps to it, and then I think what is it? Is it grain pieces? Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've got the shape match here. So let's take that and just merge these in. That's wrong. Okay. Hey there, Kay. Welcome, welcome. Philip was just saying, I think what makes a lot of that video is the pattern of small cushions, if you will, probably either soft pins, multiplier for stretch stiffness. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Isn't there like a vellum? Merge packed? Oh yeah, that's a different thing. Anyways, let's take this and we can do that. And I think it should just work, hopefully. Yep, that is working. Cool. Might have to turn the mass property of it down a little bit. Yeah, so Zach is asking, does the Vellum solver want Geo for collisions or a VDB? Does it matter? yeah, you definitely want geometries because it's all point based. And so that's why we turn this into this grains first, because this is now kind of the representation of that geometry. And we could make this smaller, I think, like that. And pack a bunch more spheres in there and stuff like that. Let's actually see. Oh, it is there. Oh no, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong one. That's the one that I want to see. Cool. So yeah, the reason that we're doing this like packing thing here is that is kind of representing the geometry, right? We're basically putting these spheres inside of it, and those are acting like a rigid object kind of inside of that. Yeah, so we can always adjust these around and kind of play with it and get it to fit exactly the way we're kind of hoping for it. And we want all these like kind of overlapping geometry basically. And it goes away because the P scale can't be shown with this mesh as well. But we can do that. And then what we should be able to do is, what is it? Vellum. What is it? Transform pieces. So here is the vellum geometry. Here's the constraint geometry. And then we need to add in the piece. Is that going to do it? Yeah. It does. Perfect. Yes, I use the vellum configure grain pieces for this. Yes. Yes, that's very handy. I agree. Oop, didn't mean to duplicate that. All right. I mean, honestly, you could probably, yeah, there's ways of adjusting this to make it work a little bit better, but there you go. So that's oh yeah, hey, cool VFX, welcome. Yeah, that's a nice machine. I have not upgraded yet. Maybe we'll see with the prices of things, might be putting a snag in that. So Kay, you were asking, have I ever been able to look at the RBD car nodes workflows since its release? I have a little bit, but honestly, if you want a really good walkthrough of it, let me see if I can find this. It would be on the Houdini website, sorry, Side Effects website. And let's see here. Ah, cool. My new course just got added. Nice. I did a course on refining Karma renders, so that's in there. Let's see. RBT, I think I have here. Okay, so if you're curious, I would take a look. Saw the thumbnails. It's yours? Yeah, I guess. Not sure what thumbnails you saw, Fractaler, but yeah, I added there's a new tutorial there. It's funny, I literally just saw that it was put online by looking up this right now. I would take a look at this course here. It's really, really good. There's a great hip file with it. It's from like the from like the launch materials and stuff like that. Oh, I see. Houdini channel drop new videos. Yeah. Right. So yeah, this I would take a look at because I actually sat in on a workshop that Viswesh did, and he's awesome. He's a really good teacher. And he did a lot of work on this. Like, this is a super in-depth thing. Oh, I guess this is just a text tutorial, unfortunately. Oh, that stinks. I thought there was a work. Yeah, this is interesting. You can also see here that there's this related video, which is something that he talks about how he did it. So that might be really interesting to take a look at. Is take a look at this presentation, take a look at this tutorial, take a look at the HIP files that are included with it. I think that should be really helpful, Kay, and hopefully that'll get you somewhere useful getting into the RBD car stuff. Fast and fractious. Oh, that's cool, Philip. I didn't know that. That's interesting. I'm not sure. Global animation options you're talking about in here. Oh, it remembers it for your HIP file, maybe? Interesting. Oh, cool. Good. I'm glad you talked to him, Kay. Yeah, he's super knowledgeable. I mean, way more knowledgeable than I would be on that topic, but it's definitely very involved. It's a big process. Like, there's a lot that you have to do. We did a workshop. He was doing a workshop that was, I don't remember if it was the whole day or if it was half the day, but it took him hours to like go through the whole setup of it. So it's certainly, oh, that's cool for new sessions too, Philip. That's cool. But it certainly is a long process. It's probably longer than something I could really feasibly do on the stream here. And I'd have to know like exactly what I'm doing, because like if you mess anything up and you're screwing around for a while, there's just so many steps that it just would go off the rails basically. So it's kind of a tricky one for me to get into just because it's so involved. But it's really like for film and for like doing like real like vehicle crashes and stuff like that. It's like super well done. So yeah, I don't really have anything more on that, but maybe if I can figure out a way to kind of cover it a little shorter, or like, I don't know. It's definitely a possibility, but it's a tough one because it is like, after I saw how involved it was, I'm like, wow, this is really like, there's a lot to it. So yeah, it would be tricky to do in this kind of format here, like online. Cool. Okay. So getting back to this thing, we've got this little thing that's like bouncing here. Let's come in here and let's set up a animation here. So what if we do constraint properties, and this goes into the force. No, I think it actually probably doesn't matter too much. Yeah, so where's Stephen Nipping? I think he works for a machine learning company now, doing like Houdini's, like custom Houdini like setups or something. I just saw a video where he was like, or I saw some social media thing where he was talking. But yeah, a lot of people are like, there's a lot in the machine learning world of like doing like custom training data with Houdini. So yeah, but I mean, he worked at ILM for a long time, but now he's doing that. So I guess he wanted to get out of studio life, which I can't blame him. Makes sense. It's a tough world. Yeah, his content is great. That's where I learned a lot of simulation stuff from. Let's do the pressure here, and let's do the rest length scale. So we'll do one, and let's actually not move this back, and we'll do this to like maybe 1.25. I'm just curious how much this is going to actually like inflate. Not too crazy. All right. So let's, I'm just going to hit shift here. So I have this to screw around with, and coloring it red to make it faster. Yeah, I've stolen that one. That's I do give him credit for that, I think, but at least I have tried to remember. But yeah, that's I still use all the same colors from when he taught. I was just like, yeah, purple is like simulation, green is geometry, like red is simulation or rendering, I think is what I have it for usually. Yeah. All right, so let's change this one here to 1.5. I'm just gonna go up here. What the heck just happened there? Pin that down. Do you work for 360 inside Houdini? I'm not sure what that means, cool. Ultra high res over 10K. I'm not sure, man. I don't know what that means for 360. Okay, so this looks like this is working, so this is cool. So we should be able to do this, right? So we can have it go like this. Oh, for 360. Oh, no, I've not done any 360 image type stuff in Houdini. No, I've never done any of that. All right, so let's do this, rest length scale, and then we'll have it come back down here to 1. And then we should, let's see how this goes. Let's see here. So if we have this come like this, plunk, and it goes up, kind of bobs around a little bit, and then it should come back down here. Okay, so I think actually what we want to do here, let's go back to this and let's just move this. Let's go to like 72. I'm gonna let this come to a little rest here first. So we're gonna have this come down, kind of settle down like that. Yep, perfect. Yeah, that's different. I mean, I've not done any 360 stuff like that. Cool. So, I mean, I'm not even sure if we have like spherical. I guess we do. I guess Karma must support that, but I haven't really messed around with that at all. Okay, so we've got this simulation here. And so what I think we could do, I think you should do it on next stream. If you have something specific that you're looking for, you can always add something to the topic suggestions, but I'm not promising anything. Yeah, so if you or anyone else, is a good segue, has something specific that they'd like to add as a topic suggestion for the future, feel free to go to HoudiniHangout.com, get the Discord invite link, and then you can you can go in there. There's a topic suggestions channel, and you can add stuff in there. So yeah, feel free. All right, so let's do this. Let's see if we can't make this work here. Okay, so we have... Sorry, I'm just realizing something. Hopefully my microphone is still working. Okay, there we go. Sorry, just learning my new setup here. Okay, so what we could do now is we could take this. This is gonna be a little tricky. Let me see here. It's working. Good. Good. No, it's good. I just coughed for a second there and I was like, what's the best way to mute this? I've got like 3 different ways to mute it. Oh man. Anyways, no, that's not this. It's not the time shift. I think we want to do... All right, so input frame range. That you just infect 18 people. Sorry. All right, so let's do this. Let's do 72 to 168. And then if we do the same thing here maybe and do actually, sorry, just rethinking this. Let's do this from 48 to 168. So this is going to be offset by a little bit here. All right, let me just double check that this is exactly what I'm getting. This. Okay, cool. So then this one, why don't we shift this to 168? Actually, I'm just changing some things here, sorry. So we'll do 48 to 240, and this will be oh, we'll do the same thing and just shift it backwards. Sorry. So we'll take this and then I do like that background sound. Cool. Good, good. Glad. Sorry, I'm just trying to think about this. I don't do this all that often. Probably the better thing, actually, would be to take the original here, take this. So this is the 48. So this is basically where we wanted to loop it to. We wanted to move it to maybe 168. So let's do that. And then this should start jelly pillow. Yeah, I'm just screwing around. Just trying to do a little loop here. See how this would work. It's really more like supposed to just be another pillow, but I'm just not really taking a lot of time with it. I'm just kind of screwing around. So this here. Then we could actually adjust that if we wanted to, but I think if we just did a blend shapes between them. Let me see. I'm just going to change this to 360. I think this will keep going actually. Yeah, perfect. Okay. That loop is working. Sorry, I'm just like focused in here. I'm like not talking at all. Sorry. All right, so let's do this. We'll do from 168 and we'll blend these together. So we'll do 168 to 192 maybe. Yeah, I think this would actually loop now. Well, except for the first part of it. So if we now took this whole thing, grabbed another retime here. And if we did shift to frame 1 and we did 48 to 360, trying to think of exactly where this loop would start again then. Yeah, it's like sort of where I actually need to take this and not do the whole thing, I think, and just do a post hold on it. So let's do it to 192. I think that's where I'm blending it to. So let's do this to 192. I think that's right. Hopefully. Yep, okay. But it should hold now. At the end. Okay, so it's going to be 312 here. Okay, so then if we shift this, shift to 1, should hold when it gets to the end. Okay, so let's do that. 264 maybe? It's probably pretty close. Oh, what? No, 216. What am I doing? There we go. What is going on here? Why is it not? I see. Yep, frame range set to end. Thank you. Why was it doing that? Goof. Twitch stream is broken? All right, let me take a look at it. Give me a second. Gosh. Did it just stop? Like, it was working before. It's so goofy. Am I using any capture cards? Sort of. So I'm using hardware between the two devices for capturing. Yeah, it's... Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Twitch. It's really annoying. Like, yeah, not sure. Not sure what's going on there. Saw that there was a couple people there before, but anyways, sorry about that. Not sure why. I'll have to look into that a little more closely. Yeah, that's weird. Very weird. Ularte? Well, come on over to YouTube. It's working there. Anyways, it looks like we've got this kind of working. But yeah, this is sort of how I would go about doing it, I guess. The time remapping is kind of annoying. I wish there was a better way of doing that, but you know. Here we are. Anyways, yeah. So hopefully that is, you know, gives you some thoughts there, Wallaby. Certainly, you know, there's certainly a bunch more that you could do with it than just that. But, you know, just kind of mess around there and you can get a sense of what exactly is going on. Cool. Because Peter said bad words in Twitch. Yeah. Cool. Well, anybody else, if anybody else has anything else that they'd like to ask or add to this conversation, anything like that, feel free to drop a comment in the chat and we can kind of keep the conversation rolling. Do you ever use Labs Make Loop? Nope. Never tried. let's see. Let's see how this works. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. Happy New Year to everybody as well. Glad to have you all around. All right, so let's see here. So our start frame would be 48. Let's see. Can I just put it in like this? Can I just do it with this thing? So I'm going to do 48 to 192. Let's try it. That's weird. I don't understand why that's... Guess I don't know how to do that, how to use this make loop, but it's kind of interesting. Would you have time today to go over the point deform stop and how to properly use the piece attribute? Yeah, sure. Yeah, we could talk about that. Yeah. Let's do it. Okay, so let me just remember exactly what. That's interesting. Okay. Why did that crash my computer? Yikes. It's so nice to not have to worry about the stream being affected. No, it's not your fault. Definitely not your fault. Not your fault at all. I don't know why that happened. That's crazy. All right, let's do this. Yeah. Yeah, seriously, Kay, stay out of my computer. Right. Okay. So let me think about this here. So if we had, let's see here. What could we possibly have? Let's say we were trying to Let's try something here. So what if we had, I'm just gonna stick with Vellum since we're in the Vellum world here. Let's do a couple more planar patches here. And so we'll say So let's do this. Let's say piece A. Let's hide that. And then we'll do piece B. And with this one, I'm just going to transform it just a little bit here. To form a subdivided box with an RBD fractured version. That just might be an issue of the two things not matching properly, because like the idea is that like, you know, I don't even need to probably do anything too crazy here. Let's just move this over a little bit. Actually, sorry. I'm just gonna do a scatter here. And let's just randomly set a name here. We'll say custom discrete string. We'll do two different ones. And we'll do piece A. Wow, that's hard to read. And then we'll do piece B. And then we have two planar patches here. And we have our scattered points. So let's just say you had points that you wanted to match up with stuff moving one way or moving another way from like a source, right? And this is going to be a pretty extreme example, but if we did something like this and had this let's just merge these two together, I guess, as the rest. And then let's just say these were two animating things. I don't know, there's multiple pieces animating, but I'm just kind of contriving this real quick here. And this is the deformed, right? If we transformed one of these and took a look at this, like it kind of doesn't know what to do with it, right? Because it's like, well, which points am I actually attaching to and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of trying to figure out its life basically, because it's everything is on top of each other, right? So let's for the sake of things here, let's see here. So let's do a name here and here, and we'll call this piece B. Sorry, my desktop was just a little funky sized there. Okay, and then we'll grab this over here. And this will be piece A. And this we can just use name. And now you can see that this is going to be able to figure that out, because we've basically said these points have this piece and the other points have the other piece that they're going to listen to, right? And so now we can have this geometry on top of itself, and it's not going to be a problem because basically what we're dealing with here is this, you know, it's basically what the piece attribute is doing is saying which geometry matches to which points, and it's separating them out basically, and then it's doing all the translations there, and then I think merging them back together. I could be wrong, but I think, yes, that's what it's doing here. I'd have to look more carefully in there, but so because of that, we can basically have two geometries that start on top of each other. Basically, here they're just right on top, and then when you transform it like this and use that piece attribute of name, now we can actually transform them based on the geometry that we want them to be transformed off of. And what we could do here even as well is actually what we could do here, let's try this. Let's do color and do red, just to visualize this a little bit better. And then we'll just do a green. Then we can actually scatter these. Is it acting as a lattice? Sorry, give me 1 second here. I'm just going to reset this up a little bit just to make sure that we're good here. So I'm going to do this and then this, merge these together. I'm going to change the seed of this second one here so that we have a little bit better. Where's my seed? There. Okay, there we go. Might be kind of hard to see on the stream. Let's do this, dark gray. There we go. So there's our two different colors. And now these translations between those two pieces, you know, we've got our red and our green there, and here on top, they're on top of each other here, but it's able to figure that out and move with it like so. Is it acting like a lattice? Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by that. Like, because like if I deform this, like if I do a mountain on this, it's going to deform those points and I could animate it, right? And then that's going to animate, right? And I could just do this. Let's see, I'm just going to do this. $F. Maybe times 4. Is that too fast? No, that'll be good. Yeah, maybe 2. But yeah, so you can see you can do whatever you want with it, right? It's going to be able to deform those separately, right? Even though they started right on top of each other. If we weren't using this name and we just deleted this, you'll see that it's going to do weird like scalar stuff because it really can't. It's trying to like match and deform based on all of that geometry together, and it's like kind of just averaging out the positions of the two geometries that it's on top of. And this is a very contrived example, but if you were doing something where things are moving to other sides of the, you know, geometry, you know, of your world space, right? It's going to really get goofed up pretty badly. So what it's doing here is it's doing, so we're using the name to split it apart. And then it's making that that deformation and then bringing it back together, basically, I think is more or less the idea. The pre-separate pieces, I think, is a part of it too. So I think what it does is it brings them very far apart, like virtually, and that's what it's doing. And that's basically one of the thing that it's helping. So it's basically pulling those pieces apart really, really far, doing the capture attribute based on like how much weighting they have to each of them. And you can see here the delete capture attributes is on. If you turn this off and take a look at it, you can see the captured points and the captured weights. And so this is going to change dramatically the captured points if we turn this piece attribute off. So we're going to have double the amount of captured points here within this radius, right? So yeah, you're using the radius around them to capture points and then deform based on, you know, the distance and the weighting and stuff like that to those points. So there's a lot happening there, right? But having this piece attribute is basically just sorting out, or sorry, not piece, name is sorting between them. And now it's only having a couple here, like, right, some that are probably on the borders are only going to have a few points versus, you know, 6 or whatever. And we could obviously change the radius of it and it's going to kind of average all of it out, right? So now this is like the whole thing, right? But you could adjust this down even more and it's going to, I think it's going to be more finely controlled. It's not going to have as many points that are going to be taking, you know, that are going to be weighted into the transformation of it. So there's something, you know, you can kind of control there. Obviously, you can also have a maximum minimum points here that you can control. And so that's a big part of it as well. So hopefully that makes sense, Kay. I know you were asking about that with a very specific use case, but maybe just seeing it in this really simplified use case can help you understand how to maybe use it better in those more complicated use cases, right? Yeah, it's, yeah, hopefully that might help a little bit. But yeah, oh, no problem. I mean, it's hopefully that makes sense and clears up maybe some of the confusion that happens there. But really that piece attribute is super helpful when things are really close together, and it allows you to basically be able to differentiate between which pieces it should be weighting to, which pieces of geometry the points should look to for their capture weights, and then, you know, that'll make the whole thing work quite a bit better. So, well, great. Yeah, I don't really have much else to kind of talk about here. It seems like everybody's kind of slowly quieted down with some of the chatting. So yeah, I think this is a good a place as any to start wrapping up the stream for the beginning of the year here. So Kay just said, I'm attempting to use it with deforming vehicles. Yep. Trying to work with simpler setups to better understand the node. Yeah, for sure. And another thing too is that I think if you have packed geometry, that's going to be a little bit tricky to do a point deform with, because it's looking at the points from the source geometry, and it's the points of source geometry that your packed stuff is going to just be one single point in the middle. So just keep that in mind, is that when you're packing, you're kind of bringing a whole bunch of geometry and making it into one specific point. So that's going to be a little bit trickier to deal with versus, you know, if you have full mesh. So if you're doing some deformation, like point deforming and stuff like that, with like stuff that maybe was packed and rigid, you know, rigid body stuff, you might want to unpack it to be able to do that, depending on what the situation is. But just knowing that it's using points kind of as a lattice basically to deform other points, that's kind of the idea overall. So cool. Well, thanks everybody for joining, and thank you for being here to start off the year. Hopefully we'll have a great bunch of cool streams and information. If you guys have any suggestions, you can always jump over to houdinihangout.com, get a link to the Discord server there, and come join and drop some suggestions in there. And yeah, if you have any questions or need any other help, you can certainly add them there as well. If you're watching this after the fact, folks are on there pretty often, all the time, basically. When I'm asleep, even I see people on there chatting and doing stuff. So it's cool. There's lots of helpful people there if you're looking for some information. So with that all being said, thanks so much for joining. And yeah, we will all talk to you later. Bye, everybody. Have a great start to year and see you next week.